And then there were 53. Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapine with allbengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk, where the Bengals have trimmed their roster to 53, and yet we know there are more moves on the way. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. The Bengals trimming their roster to 53 players by Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline, and there were some surprises. Let's start with the offensive line. It's been such a hot-button topic really over the past couple of years, but certainly over the past 10 months or so. And Michael Jordan doesn't make the 53-man roster. The former fourth-round pick out of Ohio State, the 23-year-old, will now be subject to waivers. Don't look now. I think he ends up in Jacksonville as the Jags have that number one waiver priority, and Urban Meyer did recruit him and coach him at Ohio State. With that being said, look, this was just a matter of consistency. He was inconsistent. He flashed his potential at times. He was also part of the reason, not the whole reason, but part of the reason Joe Burrow got injured on that bull rush last November. And those inconsistencies, I think, are why Michael Jordan now is no longer with the team, because you look at Xavier, Quinton Spain. The Bengals feel like they know what they can get and what they're going to get from those guys. Deontay Smith and Jackson Carman both finishing camp strong. Smith had a really strong camp throughout. Carman slow start, but has certainly made improvement throughout the preseason. Let's stick with the trenches, because Mike Daniels was a guy I thought was a roster lock. I think a lot of people viewed him that way until Monday's trade. They land B.J. Hill in exchange for Billy Price, which not only benefited B.J. Hill, but it benefited Trey Hill. Mike Daniels on the outside looking in of that defensive line room. Darius Hodge made the squad, someone that I had on that initial 53-man roster projection, and he's just, look, he flashed his potential, and it's been quite a surprise to see him blossom like he has. But as you look at this 53-man roster, other surprises include Mitch Wilcox beating out Thad Moss. I thought Thaddeus Moss was going to make the 53-man, but Wilcox is a better athlete. I think that's fair to say, and he was better on special teams in that third tight end spot. Special teams matters, and it matters a lot. I think Moss might be more reliable as a pass catcher right now, even though Wilcox had bigger numbers and better numbers in college. Both are second-year players. Both went undrafted last year as well. So who knows? Maybe Moss will be back on the practice squad, as could any of these, number of guys that got released, whether it's Jacquez Patrick. He put together quite a preseason, but were the Bengals really going to keep 4 running backs? And that's the part of it that I think really they struggled with and fought with and went back and forth with. That being said, other notes that I have when it comes to this include Isaiah Prince. How about Isaiah Prince making the initial 53-man roster at tackle? That was a surprise to me, but he made it, and I do know the coaching staff likes him a lot and put together enough, good tape to essentially edge out a Michael Jordan, right, as one of these last linemen, and we'll see what happens there. But, this team made some tough decisions. Trent Taylor doesn't make it at wide receiver. Instead, Trenton Irwin gets the nod there. But I don't think the moves are done. And you're looking at this right now. There are guys that they should potentially go after. And I was taking notes as cuts were coming down. And so let me look here. So Tyron Johnson, Tanner Hudson. Tyron Johnson released by the Chargers. Tanner Hudson, tight end from Tampa Bay. Keep an eye on those two names, because I could see either one of those guys fitting the Bengals. There's some talk about Mike Thomas not making the team. I had a feeling he was going to make it, and so far so good. But, Tyron Johnson's a guy, a deep threat for Los Angeles. I think Chargers fans and even some of the media on the West Coast there were surprised to see what happened there with Johnson. Here's what I know is we're going to have you covered on all of this news. This is just kind of my initial reaction. Not too many surprises, but some. Like the Mike Daniels thing, I thought maybe they might try to trade him. Austin Seibert, I knew he was going to get released. The Drew Chrisman, I knew he was going to get released. But I expect a lot of these guys back. A reminder that the Bengals, it used to be 12 men on the practice squad. It's 16 now. So we'll see what they do. And over the next 24 hours, who they claim, maybe who they trade, who they add to the practice squad, and I'll be back to break it all down in a full recap of the depth chart. This something to hold you over until we see exactly what happens, because there's going to be some moves made, I think, over the next 24 hours that changes up what you're looking at right now on that 53-man depth chart and 53-man roster. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're new, welcome, subscribe, because we are just getting started here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. We have you covered all season long. Until next time, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching.